Good morning, dear students of class 11 science. In the last class, we have learned about systematics, concept of species, and taxonomical hierarchy. And we also learned about the seven major categories, which were kingdom, phyla, class, order, family, genus, and species. And mainly in case of plants, we used to use the word division in place of phylum. Now, in today's class, we will begin with aids for study of taxonomy, or we can say tools for the study of taxonomy also. And those tools which we used for taxonomy includes zoological park, botanical garden, museum, and herbaria or herbarium. And then we study about the taxonomical keys. We'll only go through the definition. Then we'll learn about the three systems of classification: artificial, natural, and phylogenetic. We'll not go in detail, but simply we'll go through definition of these three systems of classification. Clear? So first topic of the day will be our aids for study of taxonomy or tools for the study of taxonomy. So what do you mean by aids for study of taxonomy? We have learned that in taxonomy, we are trying to classify the organisms into different taxa or in different categories. Yeah. So therefore, how are we classifying these organisms into different groups? So for classification of these organisms, we used to use different types of techniques. Right? There are different types of procedures or the process from where we'll try to gather the information, or we'll try to collect the information. We will try to collect the characteristics of the species. Then those collected informations will be stored. Clear? And afterwards, all these things will be utilized for the classification of organisms. Clear? So we used to use those techniques, procedures, and informations for the identification of the species and for the classification of those species into different taxa or in different groups. So such techniques, procedures, and the information which are stored and which are useful in identification and classification of organisms are called taxonomical aids. It's also called tools for taxonomy. So what are the different tools for taxonomy? All right. So on the basis of which particular criteria we are identifying the species and we are classifying them. So mainly the tools that we are using for the taxonomic aids or for the taxonomic classification includes herbarium, we call herbaria, we have got botanical garden, zoological park, and zoological museum. So these are a few of the taxonomical aids which are being used for the identification and classification of organisms or which are used for taxonomic studies. Clear? So what are the uses of these taxonomic aids? Now, the first thing is that scientists are much benefited by the use of these particular taxonomic aids. So they mainly used to use those things to keep the record and study of common and uncommon characteristics of animals and plants. That means by the use of those taxonomical aids, just we have mentioned. All right, researchers or those scientists they used to collect the information. They used to keep record of those characteristics which are being studied, which are being identified. All right, of both animals and plants, which can be later used for the identification and classification of organisms. Then, second thing is that it also help them to decide about the correct place of a species in a given taxonomical category. That means the thing is not only to identify and classify the organisms into different taxa or into different category, but the most important thing is to assign them a correct place. For example, human being, right? We are mammals. We are placed in the class Mammalia of the phylum Chordata. Clear? But by mistake, if we are placed in the class Insecta of the phylum Orthopoda, it will be a blunder. It will be a big mistake. So the main thing is that by the help of these taxonomical aids, researchers, scientists are not only identifying the species, not only classifying the organism in a different category, but are also assigning the correct place and the correct position, clear, in the particular taxonomical category. Clear? So now we'll discuss the different types of taxonomical aids or the tools which are being used for the taxonomical studies. Clear? Remember, taxonomic aids means technique, procedures, and the stored information which are being used in the identification and classification of an organism. Clear? And not only that, but the thing is that we have to assign a correct place, correct position in the taxonomical category or taxon also. Clear? So now we'll discuss the different types of taxonomical aids. So the first one is herbaria. So from your textbook, kindly go through the page number 1.15. Okay, page number 15. First chapter, page number 15. So here we'll begin with the first taxonomical aids, that is herbaria, or we also call it herbarium. I hope all of you have seen the herbarium. Clear? So actually, what is herbarium? So whenever we used to visit a botanical garden, yeah, then mainly there you can see the collection of a dried plant is mainly called the herbarium or the herbaria seed. So what is herbarium? So herbarium is mainly a collection of well pressed, dried and preserved plants mounted on a herbarium seeds, properly labeled and systematically arranged and available for reference. So what do you mean by this? So herbarium, so you can see in the figure also, this is a particular seed, okay, which we call it herbarium seed. This one is a herbarium seed. Now, in case of herbarium, what we do, we will first collect a plant. You can see over here. So this is the plant which is being collected from a particular habitat. Now those collected plant will be well pressed. We have to press it. All right, in a bundle of seeds, we have to press the plant which is collected. Then we have to dry it. So you can see in the figure, the plant is well dried. Clear? So we have to dry it. Then those dried plants will be preserved on a seed, the herbarium seeds for the further studies. Clear? So what is need to be done while we are going to create a herbarium or herbarium seeds? The most important thing is that we have to collect the plant. Alright, collection of plant is very important. We have to collect the plant from different habitat. The first thing, we have to collect the plant. So go to the page number 1.16. No need to go in details, but just remember carefully that how we can create a herbarium seed. So first thing is that we have to collect the species, so collection of plants. All right, so we have to collect the plant from particular habitat, from particular place where they are present or where they are found. So first collect the species, collect the plant, and while collecting the plant, you have to note down several things, or there are few important terms or points you have to remember. Clear? You have to note it down. So whenever you are collecting the plant from particular habitat, you have to note down the habit and habitat of the plants from where it is being collected. Number two, locality and altitude. All right, altitude of the place also you have to put it down. Number three, season. Then last one, the color of the flowers and other related information you have to note it down. Clear? While doing the collection of the plant. After the collection of the plant, we have mentioned that we have to press it. Clear? We have to press the plant and we have to dry it. Clear? So you have to be well pressed and need to be dry. After that, when the plants become dry, now we have to protect it from insects and other pests. And this is mainly done by the use of 2% mercury chloride. Clear? So I've told you to go to the page number 1.16. You will find the details over there. Clear? So 2% of mercury chloride is being used to mainly protect those well pressed and dried plant from the attack of pest and the insects. Clear? Then after being well pressed and well dried, then we used to go for mounting and labeling. Mounting means we'll place the dried plant on a herbarium seeds, and after mounting the plant on herbarium seeds, now we will write. You can see over here the information that is being presented in the herbarium sheet. So in that particular group, what we'll write? We'll write the scientific name of the plant over here. Okay, we'll write the scientific name of the plant, the common name or the local name of the plant, then the family name to which the plant belong, then date of collection, habitat, locality, name of the collector, and name of the institution. So all those things we will write it over here. Clear? So that whenever any research students or scholars used to come to the herbarium, and if he or she needs any information about the plant, then those particular points will give the clear idea of the species or of a plant. Okay, so this herbarium will play very important role in providing the information about the plant to the research scholar or to any students in future. Clear? Then after that we have to store the herbarium seeds. All right, now you can see over here cultivated plant species are dried for preservation, and the place where they are kept or collection is actually called the herbarium, right? Then if we are not able to press the plant, or if we are not able to dry the parts of a plant clearly, then we can preserve the plant also. And for the preservation of those plants, we can simply use 2.5% formalin or FAA. If we are not able to like well press the plants, or we are not able to dry it properly, then we can simply preserve the entire plant body. And preservation is mainly done by the help of 2.5% of formalin or FAA. In case if you are not able to dry the plant properly, then we can go for preservation. Clear? Then you can keep it in a large container or a large vessels. Clear? Now, what is the role of herbaria? Now, or we can see the significance of herbaria. So here also you can see one herbarium seeds. Clear? So you can see the plant species which is being collected. Clear? So this is the herbarium seeds where the plant is being kept, and here you can see the information, like the scientific name of the plant, the local name of the plant, from where it was collected, locality name, altitude, or name of the collector, and name of the institution. So all these things will be provided over here. So this is one of the herbarium seeds. Clear? Okay, now let's go with the significance of herbaria or the role of herbaria. It's in the page number 1.17. Then from your textbook also go with the table number 1.14. All right, I'm saying it one more time. Table number 1.4, major herbaria and their locations. So kindly go through it. No need to remember all those things, but simply go through it for your knowledge. Clear? Page number 1.17. Now we'll discuss about the role of herbaria. So first important significance of herbaria is safety of type specimens. Okay, so what we do over here is that whenever we are collecting the plant or collecting any species of plants, what we do, we'll first have to write the name of the plant. Okay, name of the location, that means name of the place from where it is being collected, and altitude name. Clear? So why are we doing this thing is that so that all the information of those collected plants can be usually documented, can be recorded. Clear? This is mainly for the safety of particular plant. It gives the information from where the plant has been collected. Okay, what is scientific name, its local name, what is the significance of those plants, or all those things we can keep the record. And mainly in herbarium, what we do, those collected plants will also be protected from the attack of pest and the insects. So all those things are kept in mind while creating herbarium seeds and while keeping them in a herbarium. Now, number two is important role is compilation of flora, manuals, and monograph. So what we do over here is that compilation work is mainly based on the specimen in herbaria. That means we used to collect different types of species of a plant while forming a herbarium. So we have to compile those flora. That means if the flora means plant belongs to the same species, same family, then we can keep them in a one particular group. Alright, and that particular group contains all the plants belong to the same family. Okay, that's called compilation. And after that, what can we do? So whenever we used to compile those collected specimens of plants, then those collected species of plants or the herbarium will give us the knowledge of plant taxonomy and the distribution. So afterwards, whenever we used to visit the herbarium, and if we need the information of any plant belonging to a particular family, then we can go to a particular compiled section of that family. We can get that plant and we can get the important information on that plant. So this is the importance of herbaria. So compilation of flora means plant manuals and monogram. Then number 3 is identification. So role of herbaria. So herbaria plays a very important role in the identification of plants. Clear? If we have collected a plant and if that plant is unknown to us, clear? So when we used to visit the herbarium, so from the herbarium we can get the information about the particular plant which we have collected. Clear? Next one is research and training. Herbarium also used to play an important role for the research scholars in plant taxonomy. Alright, through the help of those herbaria, we can get the general information regarding the morphology of the plant, the structures, okay, their distribution, that means the habitat in which they are formed, and whether the plant is endangered or not. All those informations we can get or we can collect from the herbarium. The last one is preservation of voucher specimen. All right, this means that specimen on which specialized studies such as chromosomal studies, all right, or phytochemical studies or ultra structural studies are conducted, then they are called voucher specimens. So such specimens are also being conducted by creating a herbarium. So these are the significance of herbarium. So the first taxonomical aids is being used in taxonomical studies. Number 2 tool is botanical garden. So all of you have visited the botanical gardens where you can see the collection of different species of plants and animals. Clear? So what do you mean by botanical garden? So botanical garden is mainly a place. It's mainly a place with an assemblage of living plants maintained for scientific teaching, research, conservation, and public education. So all of us, we have visited botanical gardens. So we used to see a different variety of plants and plants in case of botanical gardens. Clear? So those collected plants in botanical gardens used to provide the scientific teaching and the learning to the research scholars. All right, it helps in the conservation of endangered species which are on the brink of extinction, and it also provides the education to the local people also, because there are lots of plants which has got medicinal significance also. So whenever we used to visit the botanical garden, we also visit the those particular sites or the place where the medicinal plants are being kept, so that from there we can get the information or we can collect the knowledge of the medicinal use of the plants also. Clear? So along with this, like botanical gardens also used to harbor a laboratory, a library, herbarium, and a museum. So botanical garden is mainly maintained by the government, by the semi-government, and by the private organization. Clear? Okay. Now we will go through the role of or the significance of botanical garden. Before that, we have to go through the page number 1.18. Clear? Page number 18 of the first chapter. Go through the table number 1.5. Table number 1.5, where you can see the major botanical gardens in the world, and table number 1.6, you will see the major botanical garden in India. So kindly go through this table. Okay, page number 1.18. Now let's go through the significance of botanical garden or the importance of botanical garden.